Hi Pisces, thanks for tuning in. This is your May reading, 2020. This is a general reading for anyone under the Pisces influence. You could be Sun, Moon or Ascendant Pisces. You might be cross-watching for someone you know. This is a general reading, so not all the messages will be for you. Just take what you need. If it's not your reading, just leave it behind and move on with your day. So tune in with me while I shuffle, check in with your higher self and your guides and ask them to connect with me so that I can bring through messages that are tailored for you and relevant to your current circumstance. Please don't multitask while you're watching this reading. I want to make sure that you make the most out of your time here and you don't miss anything that's coming through that's for you. So grab some headphones and a cup of tea and let's get started. One more shuffle. Okay. Queen of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So major arcana cards we have in your reading is the Devil in the position of you right now. It's paired with the Nine of Swords. So some of you might be really feeling trapped at the moment. You might be having a very difficult time feeling like you're unable to see your way through. You might also feel someone might actually be dealing with someone that's incarcerated or in prison with the Devil and the Nine of Swords together. That's a very specific message. But in general, like some of you might be feeling a little bit trapped or feel a little bit really like very restricted and very limited in your ability to move forward or to do what you want to do or what you need to do. And of course that's a very obvious thing to say at this time when we're all kind of under the influence of quarantine. But here at the height of the reading you have the Fool upright, which is really beautiful. And it's crossed by the Ten of Cups. The crowning card is the Temperance. And the card at the foundation is this Ace of Pentacles reverse, which actually flipped out when I was shuffling. I don't know if you saw that earlier. So what this says to me, and given that you have this influence of the Devil and the Nine of Swords here, this is how you see yourself right now with this Ace of Pentacles in reverse and the Fool in the heart of the reading. This is telling me that you are kind of feeling like you want to start something fresh or make a new beginning or go somewhere. Of course, travel is always on people's agenda. But there's energy here for a fresh beginning. There's energy for changing up things or moving on from something. But with this Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, in the unconscious position, it could be that you may not have the resources to do so, or if you do, you may have the resources to do so, but there's some delay in you being able to kind of move forward with your personal plans and your personal agenda. In this quadrant of the reading from your environment, we have the Six of Wands upright with the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. That feels to me like maybe confidence is a little bit of an issue here, and again finances. Like there could be some of the delay or some of the reason why you feel limited and restricted could have both and or either or to do with your financial situation or a lack of self-confidence. Now this was the first thing that jumped out at me actually when I put the cards down. This King of Pentacles upright and this Queen of Swords both upright in the central axis of the reading in the position of recent past and near future, with the Fool at the heart of the spread. So my first feeling when I saw these two cards go down is that there's two people that you're dealing with. Or one of these people is you and the other is another person. Just give me a second here. I'm putting some things together. You know, you have there's two sort of family cards, romance, marriage cards here in the reading. This Ten of Cups and the Four of Wands both kind of speak about family life, home life, happiness, celebration, contentedness, union, marriage. These are both marriage cards. And seeing it here in this configuration with the Fool, and then there's this, for some of you there could be this feeling like you are it's a little bit confusing actually, because on one hand it's like you have this Devil energy with the Nine of Swords saying that you feel restricted, and then in the opposite quadrant up here you have this Four of Wands with the Seven of Pentacles, which is saying it's a happy home, it's a celebration, there's long-term future invested in you. You have loyalty and patience and commitment for the situation, and I'm assuming it's about this person here. And yet with the Ten of Cups as the crossing card in the reading, it's as if that family life or that home life or that union is somehow a challenge. So I don't really know what's going on here for Pisces people. A little bit mixed energy. And then this quadrant here is saying, you know, there's maybe a lack of finances, lack of confidence. And in this quadrant, in the outcome, this opposite quadrant, you have Moon reverse with Two of Wands in reverse. Again, talking about maybe a lack of clarity, a little bit of confusion, uncertainty, some, I'm hearing depression as well. There's also the Temperance card in the crowning position of this spread in reverse. Maybe there's like some need for reconciliation or need for understanding or need for communication between two individuals. But it's interesting because the central axis of the reading this way, the King of Pentacles to the Queen of Swords with the Fool upright in the heart of the reading felt really clear when that went down. Like that's a good energy. That's very compatible, two very compatible people who are quite aligned with each other and very much like sort of on the same page, and it's like a very good resonant match. And then the other cards in the reading are saying there's uncertainty, there's challenge with that, there's some dissonance, there's some challenge with it. And then the other quadrant is saying, yeah, it's a happy match, there's a investment, there's patience, there's long-term vision, and there's like success and reward and appreciation. So I don't really know which way to go with this reading. I guess it's all of the above. You kind of just have to pull out what you need from this interpretation and see what you need to use. So let's look at the bottom of the deck, see if we can get more information. So there's Queen of Cups and Queen of Wands now. So we have these three queens here. And then there's now the Queen of Pentacles, but in reverse. Wow, what a reading. And then we have Four of Swords and Ace of Wands in reverse. Four of Swords is upright, Ace of Wands in reverse. What is going on here? Four queens in the reading. Three upright, one in reverse. It could be that there are some other people in your situation. Like if we're talking about a romantic union here with another person, you might have recently discovered that there's some other energies that are in your union that maybe you didn't know about before. It's interesting. And it's interesting that the Queen of Pentacles is in reverse here, and this King of Pentacles is in the recent past. So I'm kind of reading you more as this Queen of Swords energy, and this King of Pentacles is a counterpart. It doesn't have to be anything gender specific. I'm just seeing it in the context of like, so how I'm kind of feeling this now is that for some of you, you might have you might have been in a dynamic with this sort of King of Pentacles archetype person, and it might have been, you might have had a lot of hopefulness for it, and you might have had patience, and you might have had you might have presumed or predicted that it would be a long-term relationship that you could invest in and grow with. However, you may have discovered recently that there is other energies in the situation, and you might have then kind of lost some confidence in that person, or lost some confidence in the potential that union held. And now you're in this position now with the you're showing up as the Queen of Swords, saying that you are, even though this might be a difficult emotional experience, I have a feeling in you that you are very clear and very discerning and very honest about your position, right? You maybe are aware that this is something that's not going to work for you. And now you have to use the energies of Temperance and Moon to make a decision. So you need to work with like understanding what's coming up for you in the shadow aspects, not just for yourself, but in your situation, like what this other person represents. It's not about them necessarily, but it's about seeing your own patterns and cycles and realizing what is coming up out of the unconscious mind, out of the shadow, to, you know, show you what is there to look at. I'm doing this reading today on the 7th of May, which is a full moon in Scorpio. So this could be, as much as this is a reading for Pisces, this could be an energy that a lot of people are tuning into. You might not be a Pisces watching this, but this is some energy around the full moon in Scorpio. So where was I going with that? So yeah, Temperance reverse and Moon reverse. There's things to look at that are coming up to the surface, some shadow aspects that are being revealed. And Temperance is there saying, look at those things, become more aware of them, use a Zen mind, use a neutral state of observation to witness your own self, witness your patterns and cycles, witness what's coming up, and use quiet meditation and rest to restore yourself while you go through this process of like actually evaluating and seeing what's there before you take any action. So Ace of Wands is reversed here, saying like this is maybe not the time to definitively choose something and take action on it, because there's clearly some things here to be considered. You know, if you're in a situation where you maybe for some of you watching this reading, you've been in this partnership for some time. You've been in this union for some time. You may not have been happy in the union for some time, but you've been maybe in this union for a while. And so before you decide to like make movement or separation or do anything, there is some consideration that needs to be made, Four of Swords, before you take action. Ace of Wands reverse. Yeah, and the Two of Wands is in the reverse here in the outcome as well, saying like this is maybe, you know, both Ace and Two of Wands in reverse, saying like this is time to consider and make observations and witness things and observe and like really scour through the details of your current circumstances to see what really needs to be attended to, what needs to be become aware of, what needs to be purified, what needs to be expelled first before you actually do anything. Interesting reading, Pisces. This Ten of Cups as the crossing card is very interesting. It's like I said before, for some of you watching this reading, this is a very specific reading, obviously not for everyone, because not everyone is watching this reading is in a long-term relationship or in a partnership. But I feel for someone watching this reading, what's going on here is that you have the challenge is to decide whether or not this Ten of Cups happy family story is something that you want to continue with, because you have the Fool here in the heart of the reading in the upright. Like there is a desire in you to start fresh. There is something in you that wants to be clear and clean and have sort of a sweeping, like, not necessarily deletion, but like clearing the past and forgiveness. It's also the Temperance there. Arriving to a place where you can have a new beginning because you've taken care of all these details from the past, using the Moon, using Temperance, using even the Queen of Swords, observing what like this. The Devil and the Nine of Swords here is really interesting. Like your current position is one where you maybe feel bound and restricted. But what's in there and what you may need to see with the Moon coming out in Temperance is that you might have put yourself in a position where you could be bound and restricted because you made certain choices that you maybe put yourself in the space where your needs and wants were secondary to another person, to this King of Pentacles, perhaps. Or to, you know, like you might have compromised a lot in order for the whole group to be successful. You kind of sacrificed and compromised some of your own personal needs and desires. And perhaps that's some of what's showing up here is like the realization that maybe that served its purpose until now, but this could be a moment where you're starting to realize that maybe it's more important that you are actually a little bit more concerned with your own needs, with your own development. Maybe this is a time to understand like you need to step up into your own power here and address the issues of this Nine of Pentacles reverse, which is saying like maybe you haven't been so independent. That's what this is here. This is codependency. Some people kind of invest in codependency because it feels important to belong to something, or to feel like you value or you matter to somebody else. But it's really important to understand that you can't have whole and complete and nurturing, loving relationships if that's the established foundation that the relationship begins on. So some things to address here, most certainly. This could be a time where you start to realize, like, it's more important to invest in yourself. Like, start to convert some of that energy that you've been, you know, pouring into other people's lives, other people's projects, other people's needs, into your own needs. So we can get these two cards in the upright position. Definitely a need for more self-value here. More self-love, self-nurturing. Getting yourself established in the physical realm as well. Taking care of your own coin. I think that what I'm picking up on now with you guys, for some of you, that feels really uncomfortable because you feel like that's really selfish. But it's really important to, I feel that's one of the really very dysfunctional, established philosophies or thought forms or ways of operating that our current day, mostly society has, is that it's wrong to be selfish. It's wrong to be self-oriented. And I don't mean selfish in the way of being disrespectful or disregarding of other people's needs, but I'm talking about being independent. This selfish in the sense of being wholeheartedly contained and self-directed and responsible for your own needs, and capable, realizing your capability of meeting your own needs, being really aware of what you like and don't like, and taking care of your own personal boundaries and looking after yourself first. And then from that place, you can be very giving and very generous and very healing and nurturing towards others. But if you're not in that space first before you start giving and being generous, then you start to experience this energy. It's not a nice place to be. It's very unhealthy. Attachments, codependencies, addictions, toxic. So learning to be a little bit more selfish, and in the sense of being self-contained, self-oriented, self-generating, self-manifesting, self-nurturing, is a much more healthy way to operate as a human or as a being through a human form. And from that place, once you learn how to do that and start to really, really, really operate that and rock that, then you can move into that space of being able to give well to others and be like supporting and loving towards others. But it's important to go through that phase where you figure out how to take care of your own self first. Alright, that's it for the general reading. I'm going to pull the Voyager deck now. We're going to take take another Higher Octave, another holographic mandala layout and give your Higher Octave spread. So tune in with me while I shuffle. Send your energy into the deck so I can get clear messages for you. Excuse me. The Higher Octave reading is designed to give a little bit more insight into the themes that we've already been speaking on. Hopefully provide some more understanding and clarity on some karmic or spiritual forces that might be at play, so we can understand with better clarity and awareness the lessons that are unfolding and how to make the most out of those opportunities to grow and to evolve. It's the Eight of Wands. Alright, let's take a look. Libra card at the bottom of the deck. This is balance. In other decks it's called justice. So that's definitely what I'm feeling here. There's a need to return to balance. There's that Eight of Wands that flipped out. That's funny. Four of Wands crossing. That's this card. Eight of Cups reversed. Seven of Cups reversed. Five of Crystals. Temperance reversed. Sage of Crystals. Nine of Crystals reversed. Woman of Cups is another queen coming out. Ace of Crystals upright now. That's great. Then there's the 10 of Crystals combined. So yeah, that's interesting. We'll talk about that. 6 of Crystals. There's a lot of crystals in this reading. 3 of Wands. Hangman. The crystals is the element of air. There's the swords cards from other decks. And there's the Hangman with the Sage of Crystals there. Okay. So this is a really interesting spread. It definitely takes the philosophies and the concepts from the previous reading much further in this one. If you want to hear the interpretation of this reading, please click the link in the description box below, and it will take you to that page. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. I hope you found some things in there that will work for you, that you can use to kind of understand better where you're at. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next reading. Thank you.